What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and of course, typically we feature a beer of the week. I am Matt. With me, as always, is Lauren. And today's episode is going to be about Penguin. The Penguin series is getting ready to come out on Max, and Colin Farrell is reprising his role from the Matt Reeves universe. We are all very, very excited. I cannot wait for that. So we're going to talk about his comic book origins, do a little deep dive into him. But first, please, if this is your first time or you're coming back to the show, thank you for listening. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow, all of that stuff. And then if you want to support the show, patreon.com/HopsGeekNews, or you can go ahead and buy us a beer if you want. It's like buy us a coffee, but buy us a beer is what we'll call it. And that's paypal.com/HopsGeekNews. That's just if you don't want to commit to anything and support the show still. And that's a fun way to doing that. So thank you guys so much again. My beer of the week is Master Shredder. It is a 5.5% IPA. It comes from the Vale Brewing. It is a delicious Mosaic Forward IPA. And the Vale is a really great brewery. Figured that, Penguin shreds in his car. Batman shreds. That's why I chose this. Lauren?
It is not a rat. There's not a rat on your can.
Nope, there's not.
It is somebody shredding a guitar.
Right.
See what they did there.
Oh, but he is a rat.
So I'm drinking a beer from Micah, who has sent me another homebrew before. This one is absolutely fantastic. It is a Maybach. It's 7.7%. Maybach is one of my favorite styles, anything Bach, and a lot of breweries really don't make this style. So it's half gone because we thought we were recording and we're not. So we're about to repeat everything we just said, which feels funny. But it's like take two. We're like actors. And now we don't have to look things up. My notes are actually pulled up this time.
They are. We have a format we follow here. So we go into what we look into, what we've messed up on, what we're reading or watching, some news, and then we get to our main topic. We got to our main topic and Lauren said, I don't see a time. Are we recording? No, we weren't recording. We did half an episode and I never hit record.
We were rehearsing, but I just felt like I had to say that because now I'm just smiling because I'm literally saying the same things I already said. But you know what? How many episodes have we recorded and that's the first time that's happened?
That's true. We're on 234. This is episode 234. Look at that.
Well,
that's not counting all the other creator,
Right.
We're
at like
300 by
and
now.
The creator episodes and the bonus episodes and the supernatural ones. Yeah.
Listen, even Jesus made mistakes. What we got? We got some Deadpool news real quick that we want to go into.
So Deadpool and Wolverine has officially surpassed Fate of the Furious and Incredibles 2. It is now sitting at number 24. Since it came out on July 25th, it has been number one movie every weekend except for the weekend Alien Romulus came out. So that is six weekends total. However, I'm sure this weekend Beetlejuice has taken it over. But that is huge for any movie, especially a rated R movie.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and this movie continues to dominate the box office. Obviously, Beetlejuice, the reviews are in. The movie's out by now. So if you've seen it, everything's good. I've heard nothing but good things. And then we apparently found our demographic because, like I said, my son and his friends have seen this film. They want to come on the show and talk this. We are an adult podcast, but shout out to Jonathan, one of my kids' friends, who says he listens to the show. So we found our people. He loves comic books. He's been coming over. I let him read my comics. He loves my comic book room. He wants to treat it like a library. I said, dude, if I'm fostering kids loving comic books, by all means, take whatever you want, my mans. He loves to draw. Well, he came back with a hand-drawn Star Wars thank you note that he drew himself. I will make sure to post it again. It is hanging up in my comic book room. And big shout out to Jonathan, man. Or sorry, it's Joseph, not Jonathan. Jonathan's his younger brother. Joseph. Shout out to Joseph. I totally messed that up.
Oh, that's confusing.
Yeah, real quick plug too for our Hops Geek booze, Lauren.
Yes, if you go to the link tree that is in our description, it's on everything, and you go to the first thing on said link tree, it will take you to a virtual run. If you join our run team, which is Hops Geek Booze, it costs about $40 after all the nonsensical fees and whatnot, and you do a virtual run. I keep doing quotes for those who are just listening because you don't actually.
You can walk, you can bike, you can.
This is one of those ethical,
donate,
unethical. You're still donating to a great cause. It's to raise research money for DIPG, which is a form of pediatric brain cancer, which is pretty much 100% terminal.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to create awareness and create funding. And if you do anything like run and you want to tag us and have us share it, you can tag us or do the hashtag Hops Geek Booze. Again, also creating awareness. I had never heard of DIPG until I had a friend whose daughter was diagnosed with it and sadly passed away at the age of 4. So we are really trying to raise money for this and create awareness. So join our team. Run, don't run. You should run. It's good, especially if you drink beer. You don't have to run. And yeah, let's run for a good cause and then drink more beer than we ran off.
Yeah. And maybe afterwards, maybe we'll try to coordinate a lot of us on the same day, and then we'll get together for a little celebratory happy hour afterwards and be like, hey, we did it. It's a great cause, man. I mean, seriously, how many things do you spend $40 on that just goes towards mindless stuff when you can be going towards fight pediatric cancer?
And if you join our team, you'll get thrown into like a raffle, and we'll do some prize for whoever's name we pull out.
We are going to do a quick little prize for somebody. So join that. Links in the bio of the episode. And also going to what we've been reading or watching. I've read Supernatural. I've watched Supernatural.
I've read Supernatural.
I'm on the last two episodes of season 12, believe it or not. So I'm almost there.
So you're about to meet somebody.
I am. Football is back. Bless it be. Football is back.
It's all about the U. They beat the Gators.
That's true. Oh God, FSU and Florida are both in the dumps.
Woo-hoo.
So there's that. The Pack are back.
P-A-N-E-S.
Can't wait. Football season. I did watch Now Death Becomes Her, a 1992 film starring Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn. Had never seen it. Thought it was going to be dumb. Carrie put it on. I was really surprised at how much I liked it. Goldie Hawn and Bruce Willis are getting married. She works with Meryl Streep for Meryl Streep, who always steals her boyfriends. Well, she steals Bruce Willis away, Goldie Hawn. 7 years later, she's obese and in a psychiatric ward. Meryl Streep and Bruce Willis are in a loveless marriage.
God, I need to rewatch this.
Yeah, Goldie Hawn comes back.
I remember loving it as a kid.
Well, he's a plastic surgeon. So 7 years later now, they're in a loveless marriage. He doesn't practice anymore. He's like alcoholic. Meryl Streep hates him, cheats on him all the time. Goldie Hawn comes back skinny and beautiful again. And from there, they hatch a plan to kill Meryl Streep, but they've both drank from the fountain of youth, and then hijinks ensue. It's really, really funny movie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is like dorky.
Yeah, he's super dorky. And we always forget that Bruce Willis has comedic chops because he like turned to like action star serious roles.
Well, he was in Friends. He's a fun
so
guy.
He started out as like, yeah. So whoa. He did that. And then I read.
I love that you never get me Friends jokes. They go right over your head.
I like the show, man. I don't like the show.
That's okay. It's fair.
I read Plastic Man No More. This is basically Patrick O'Brien, aka Plastic Man. He gave his life to the Justice League, who just treat him like a joke. He sacrificed his life. Now he's falling apart and melting, and he doesn't want the same fate for his son, who he does not have a relationship with because his wife and son don't talk to him anymore. They left him. He's ex-wife. And so there's, really, really different take on Plastic Man, if you will. I read Marvel Zombies, Dawn of Decay, where Groot has a cold and him and Rocket are stealing a machine that turns out to be a farm laser. So General Ross, Cap, and all of them are basically like, you idiots. They capture them. Cap gives Groot the disappointed dad talk, which was like, dang, man, that's sad. Well, Groot has a cold. He sneezes on Captain America's face. Then the zombie outbreak happens because Cap is patient zero. It happens all very fast.
Why would he do that?
He didn't mean to, man. He was just, Groot was messing
Sneeze all over his face. Something Logan would do.
This is when you cover your mouth. Jeez, sneeze into your arm.
Sneeze into your arm. Yeah, come on, Groot.
Also, he's a tree. How does he get? Whatever. But him and Hulk now, Groot and Hulk now need to fight their way to Avengers Tower to create a cure. But Hulk is on a rampage, so that's a pretty solid.
Like Elsa like mini snowman.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And then the last thing that we read was Rook Exodus. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about Rook Exodus?
Yes, so Rook Exodus, we did a joint review for Nerd Initiative. It is part of the Ghost Machine like umbrella with Image Comics. It is basically the Earth is dead. We killed it. Shocking. And nobody saw that coming. So they escaped to another planet called Exodus. However, Exodus is completely human.
Also dying. Because we humans kill everything we touch.
That starts to die. So the Salvation planet quickly becomes not the best place to go. It quickly becomes another apocalypse. However, they also have these helmets that sync them with animals. So a bunch of people are synced to our main character, Rook is sunk up to birds, and his BFF was sunk up to warthogs, and one of his warthogs is named Pumbaa. How cute is that? Yeah. So this issue though was very different, and I really like this one because it was a lot of self-reflection. It was looking into the past, but they did it in a very unique kind of cool way that I thought, because something not so great happened to him in the last issue. I don't want to spoil anything because I really think that people will fall in love with this world. All of the Ghost Machine comics have been fantastic. But again, that's Rook Exodus from Image Comics. Geoff Johns, Jason Fabok. Definitely recommend that.
Yeah. Ghost Machine Crew's killing it out there. So
Yes. And then I did finish Kevin Can Fuck Himself, which is on Netflix. It's from AMC. I talked about it a little bit last week. It is worth watching. It's only 2 seasons, but they do wrap it up with a very nice little bow on top. You do get moments of like when you're watching Dexter or Breaking Bad and you're like, okay, how the hell are they going to have him get away with this? Oh, well, that was convenient. So there you get a couple of those little moments, but for the most part, I thought it was really good. I really loved the going from the sitcom to the drama. That was always fun to watch and really made you kind of look at things a little differently. I recommend watching it. The ending was very interesting. I didn't see it coming, but it wasn't totally unpredictable, but I did enjoy it. And it's in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Worcester, baby. Yes.
Worcester.
Yes. Everyone's like, what's Worcester? Nope, it's Worcester.
That's how I thought, but the whole show they're saying Worcester, but they all have the accent too. The Worcester. There's a lot of donkeys in it.
Listen,
and the guy one time goes,
"Remember when you dunks?"
Well, then the husband, who's an ass, makes a joke. He's like, "Well, I'm still paying for the one time that you went to Starbucks instead of donkeys." Like paying for it, not like financially paying for it, but you made us look bad going to Starbucks or to Starbies. And he said, "Wicked smart."
It is. I always hate when they try to do the. Anyways, let's go into some news real quick. Ahsoka season 2 will start filming next summer. Lucasfilm has said that they are going to, or they haven't said. Rumors are they're dialing back to once a year TV shows. Y'all already know how I feel about Lucasfilm right now. I'm sad, and I will leave it at that. Do not go on to a rant. What else we got?
So Sean Levy, who is now a household name because he's the director of Deadpool and Wolverine, and we're seeing him everywhere. He is back on set for Stranger Things to direct the final season. Season 4 has been over 2 years. We now know that because we looked it up when we were recording this before.
We weren't recording. We were just rehearsing.
We were rehearsing. That was take 1. This is take 2.
We're recording with style.
We'll never know. Yeah, we weren't falling.
Yeah, God, it feels like it's been so much longer.
Happening.
I thought it was like 4 years at this point, but by the time it comes out, I mean, these TV shows,
it might be.
They just take forever. Like, that's why it's great that Only Murders season 5 has been greenlit, and they are a TV show that has been coming out every year consistently since it started. And I like that because then you don't forget what happens and it doesn't become a footnote, and then you actually stay excited for these TV shows. But what do I know? I just consume them to talk about them on a show.
It's true.
That's what
California do.
California actually has made it so that you cannot use a deceased person's likeness for AI without their estate's consent, which is great because Hollywood has been starting to do that a lot more as the technology gets better. We've seen it in Alien Romulus, we saw it in Rogue One, and other movies like that. So you have to now get permission, which is great because Hollywood has been trying to abuse and use AI, and there was a whole strike about it recently. So good on California for passing some laws, man.
Yes. So I wasn't going to add this to Geek News, but when Jimmy Buffett passed last year, a lot of the people in our Discord were actually moved by this. So I figured I would add it to our Geek News. The Florida legislature has officially made August 30th Jimmy Buffett Day. So while August 30th has already passed this year, make sure next year you set a reminder to drink a Margaritaville and listen to 5 o'clock somewhere or any song. Maybe Fins to the Left, Fins to the Right, Cheeseburger in Paradise. Why don't we get drunk and screw? Lots of great ones. Lots of
good ones. Unlike Netflix, which decided to cancel Dead Boy Detectives after 1 season, even though it was a really good show. Again, man, this is the problem with streaming. They don't market things. They don't let things run their course. They drop seasons all at once, and then you forget about them fast. And then it was actually one of the most streamed shows for a little bit there too, and everybody was super hyped. So I don't know what they're doing exactly.
Right, and like Ruthie O'Connell, who was in it, she's Rowena, and like a bunch of other people were tweeting about it, like that they wanted to keep the show going, and I think they're trying to get momentum to try to save the show. So we'll see if that actually does happen. But yeah,
well, it started like Lock and Key or something like that on HBO Max.
No,
it started.
It was a spinoff from Doom Patrol.
It's a spinoff. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. So it started on like HBO Max or whatever. It was completely different characters playing the Dead Boy Detectives, and then they came to Netflix, and now it's just.
And I think Rowena was in Dead Boy or in Doom Patrol, but I don't remember if she was the same person or not. Oh, okay. No, there you go. She was. That's been a long time since I watched that. I don't think I ever finished that. But yeah, that's lame. I really think that they need to stop doing that shit. And yeah, don't do that.
Makes
with Netflix.
Me not want to watch anything.
So One Tree Hill's getting a sequel. Did you watch One Tree Hill? I know the answer because I asked it 20 minutes
ago. You did. And I had a
girlfriend
girlfriend in high school and she loved it. And then Carrie and I watched it because Carrie watched it. So I have seen it. Yes. Peyton, super crush on her. I believe that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife.
Yes, that is Hillary Burton.
Yes.
Barton.
They
or
actually
something
just
like that.
recently did like a big basketball game or something at the place where they filmed because
Yeah,
Carrie's
they
from
did a
where they filmed and
reunion.
everything. Yeah, and you know
Well, and I
what? They
think
aged all beautifully.
yeah, the whole cast is gorgeous. But they I think the girls have a podcast too, because I'll see
Oh
things
yeah,
like come up. But I was more in Dawson's Creek, so I never finished One Tree Hill. But
Pacey.
I love Pacey. He's my favorite.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
So,
Well,
yes, so the series will have Sophia Bush and Hillary Burton, there's her name, leading it, and it will
there
be
you
on
go.
Netflix, which is way better than it being on the CW, unless Netflix cancels it immediately. And Jensen and Daniil's company will be executive producing it under their Chaos Machine banner. Exciting.
Yeah. Well, like I learned earlier when we were not recording, Daniil was in the show originally, so that's exciting.
She was a cheerleader, but I think she was one of the mean ones.
They're all the same.
I
to
always
me.
know her from Harold and Kumar. She's Kumar's girlfriend.
Huh. Don't even remember. I know those movies, but I don't remember that either. But well, how about Smile? I don't really care, but Smile 2 is coming back in theaters or coming to theaters October 18th. We kind of talked about it. You know, we don't feel like it really ended. It was kind of like just a weird ending. So I personally am not excited. I don't know what people see in this movie, but you know what? Movies are subjective. I'm not always going to agree. And that's how I
I
feel
hope
about
maybe
that.
it'll give it some closure and then it'll make it so the first one got
Makes
better.
sense.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm just being optimistic.
maybe. Who knows? That's all we can be these days. Well, let's really this time roll into some main topic action where we are going to talk about Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin of Gotham City. We will be right back. Hello, we're back. Just like I said, we'd be surprised. This time we're still recording, believe it or not. And we are going to talk about Oswald Cobblepot, who is the Penguin. Now, we are going to dive a little bit into his comic book origins, kind of what he's known for. I'm going to give some Batman background because the show is getting ready to release on Max. Really excited for this one. And Colin Farrell will be reprising his role. So a quote is from Penguin, which, you know, Lauren, do you want to take us why you picked this one out? Is there any particular reason?
It was at the top of, I have the credits at the bottom. It just sounded like a fun way to start. So I'm going to try to say it really dark.
Do it.
I embraced my hatred. I embraced their mockery too. I would take it from them, own it myself. Penguins can't fly. They are awkward on land, slow moving, uncoordinated. So they adapt. Make do with what they have. Play to their strengths. Of all birds, they swim the fastest, dive the deepest. When they are provoked to fight, their attacks are swift and decisive. And I vowed that someday, so too would be mine. Dun dun dun.
Ooh, look at that. Way to go. Proud of you. Yes,
Thanks.
Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot goes all the way back to the year of 1941, where his first appearance was in DC's Detective Comics. Jeez, that's a mouthful. Number 58. Created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. He is, of course, a Batman villain. Between 53 to 65, he wasn't seen very much. However, that changed when the Batman TV show came out in 1966. My Roosevelt shirt, I will have to find a picture. Actually, Penguin's on there somewhere. He's on here. I can't show the camera. I will take pictures, but I have like that 1966 Batman Roosevelt shirt. Speaking of what Penguin is on there. So you remember him as like his goofy little purple hat, his long thing. They were all cartoonish villains at that time. And he was played by Burgess Meredith and turned him into a household name more than half a century ago.
It's crazy how long ago that was. And actually, I think when we started re-recording this, I forgot to mention why I picked a beer that Micah so beautifully brewed. It was because even though this Cobblepot came out in 1941, he definitely would have been involved in Prohibition if it had come out before 1933. He was definitely in that world of stuff.
He was definitely running moonshine.
Oswald was a bigger kid. I sound like I'm drinking moonshine. I keep slurring. Okay. Oswald was a bigger kid with a beak-like nose and was teased for how he looked and called the Penguin. His mother also always made him carry an umbrella just in case it rained. So this just added to the reasons that dumbass kids would tease him. You really shouldn't ever tease anybody. It's like, that's just their village and origin story in the making. It's like, actually, we watched Billy Madison this weekend with Kaylee.
I'm glad I called that guy.
Yes. Which was so funny because Kaylee's boyfriend had never seen it, and he was lost his mind when Steve Buscemi shut up. But yeah, you never know. If you were mean to some kid, you could be on their kill list. Just call them and apologize right now. Pause this podcast.
Man, the world is there's too much craziness going on. Just don't be a dick, guys. Okay, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, because somebody might want to shoot you later. Okay, so while his mother showed him love, his father hated him and was so disgusted with his looks that he accidentally dropped him shortly after he was born out of shock.
Jesus Christ, man. That's tough. And because Oswald was only loved by his mother, he had a weirdly unhealthy relationship with her. He killed his siblings and father to have him all to herself, which is my dude, I get it. 1941, there probably weren't sites to live out your fantasies, but like, that's
It's like some
weird. That
Freud Oedipus shit.
maybe don't drop your
So
kid on their head, and then things like that wouldn't happen. I don't know.
yeah.
They showed this in the TV show Gotham. You watched this show, right?
I did. I never finished it. I should go back, and I don't think it was like an intentional not finishing. It was just kind of I think I never just watched the next season once they put it on Netflix. I would wait for Netflix. But they did a
Right.
fantastic job of the mother-son relationship in Gotham. And one of the things that was really cool about Gotham is it wasn't about Batman. Batman was in it. He was a kid. But it was more so, I would say, even about Alfred than Batman, because like Alfred had like, he's a
There's, like
badass.
Jim Gordon and stuff too, right?
Yeah, it had Jim Gordon in it, which what's the
I don't remember his
Morena?
name. Morena. Yeah,
The
yeah.
kid, yeah, and
She
she was in it. Yeah,
Yep.
and her now husband is in it, who's from the OC. He's Gordon.
Yeah.
But then they did a really good job. Oh, and the Cameron Monaghan was Joker in that. He did
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, that's right. I heard good
Like
things about that. Yeah.
they really did such a great
I
job with
just couldn't
that.
get into that show. Interesting.
Yeah, I need to pick it
Well,
back up. All those shows just got hard to keep up with.
yeah, that's true. So, in the comics, Oswald's mom actually owned a bird shop, which is how he created the connection to birds. At one point, he even went to school to study ornithology, which is
Ornithology.
it's the
Okay.
study of birds. He studied birds in school. Okay. The dude studied freaking birds, man.
Birds.
And rather than going to the Galapagos Islands and studying them, he decided to become a villain, but whatever. He then learned that he knew a lot more than his teachers.
So, because this is DC, there are two overall comic book backgrounds because in 2011 they redid things. So, we're going to throw in fun facts for both, as who knows what the show will pull from. Most likely, a lot of times they'll pull from little bits of all over the place. An example of this is in original New 52 continuity, Penguin was already a rising crime lord in Gotham's underworld during Zero Year. Then in Rebirth, he started out as a bartender and then rose up in the underworld after the Falcone family's downfall. His reason for breaking bad differs at times as well. Sometimes it's because he was shunned from his family as a black sheep solely for being ugly. Others, it was the teasing that drove him crazy. And another, it was a result of his mother's passing that he lost it because she was the only one who truly loved him. A lot of it, though, leads to his ugly appearance, which is just so fucked up. Like, where do you expect this guy to go?
My God,
be
dude,
like
we get he's ugly.
Quasimodo or something? They really like leaned into the
God.
ugliness. I mean,
you know what? Pretty much if you're ugly, you're going to be a bad guy. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. And that's just really unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah. So in the Prime Earth continuity, Penguin first appeared as part of the New 52 DC universe in Penguin, Pain and Prejudice #1 by Greg Hurwitz and Sizemon Kudronsky.
Ooh, and yeah, he was already a crime lord in Batman Zero Year as well, which was a really, really good comic book. Actually, I highly recommend reading that. It's essentially Zero Year Batman. He's got the purple gloves, and Riddler essentially blacks out the city and everything like that. Very, very good. And then in Rebirth, he starts out. Did you already read all this?
No, I don't know where you are.
Oh.
I'm at his first job as a criminal was stealing $250,000 worth of paintings. I thought you were going off book. Yeah, I already read all that. You're right here. His first job as a criminal.
All right, mark that down. 25
go.
minutes. All right. Woof. His first job as a criminal was stealing $250,000 worth of paintings. He did this by sneaking the paintings out in his umbrella. Interesting. I don't know how that happens. He used this to move his way into a local mob boss's territory, thereby joining the mob in the process. However, when he and his boss had a falling out, Oswald kills him with his umbrella gun, pow, and took over as leader. Again, don't make fun of people. Don't bully because you're going to get shot.
Especially if the guy has an umbrella.
Yeah,
Umbrella is
who carries a freaking umbrella around, man? You know who does? People who want to kill other people. They got umbrella guns, man. All right, so just like be a little careful.
I mean,
tell us about when he made his
Yeah,
that's
comic debut. So making his comic debut in 1941 makes him one of the oldest Batman villains. So early on, Penguin actually tried framing Batman and Robin for the theft of a statue. Oswald owned the statue and wanted to frame the heroes and claim the insurance money. I wanted to add this just because obviously these stories we get now are so much more complex that it's just kind of fun to see the progression of these like villain plans.
Yo, interesting. Yes. Now, in the comic No Man's Land, Gotham City suffers a major earthquake that caused the city to be locked away from the rest of the country. Gotham, of course, then becomes a lawless city. This allows Oswald to become the city's major player, one of the city's major players, by collecting the money nobody could use anymore thanks to the breakdown of the law, and trades it to outside contacts for goods. One of those contacts was actually Lex Luthor, who worked with Penguin to acquire Gotham property records, of course, Nothing ever lasts forever because they're bad guys, man. They're going to stab each other in the back. That's just what they do. All right. That's what they do.
No honor among thieves.
No, there's not. So let's go into some fun facts real quick.
So in the New 52, at one point, Penguin actually saved Batman. And so they had a temporary truce. However, this was because he had hired people to murder him first. And then he was like, oh, maybe we don't need to do this. But it was too late. So he knows Batman is Bruce Wayne. I feel like a lot of the villains do.
I feel like everybody kind of knows it, but nobody wants to say anything. It's like, dude, he needs this. All right. Okay, guys, he needs this. He's cleaning up the streets a little bit. Like, just let the billionaire have his fun.
Yeah. How often do billionaires get to have their fun?
Look, it could be worse. You could be out there spouting Nazi propaganda on Twitter and buying Twitter to spout that stuff. Okay. Instead, he's just beating up ugly children. I don't know.
I think that's good either. So when he faked his own death, he was worth $10.8 million. Batman has broken Oswald's nose as many times as Dante's girlfriend has.
37.
If you it's 37.
Clerks,
I'm like, now you're telling me like your kids' friends are listening to
times.
us. I'm like, start editing this.
Great. So we have to go to a PG show now.
I hope you don't do any whatever. I hope you don't break anybody's nose on the way to the playground.
37 times. He was part of the secret society of supervillains at one point. Ooh. Oswald once, while fighting with the forces of the last 52 in the multiverse, mysteriously gained the ability to transform into a gigantic bird. However, they never did this again, probably for very good reason.
Like, that was a terrible idea. Why did we do that?
Yeah, probably didn't go over well. When Penguin was once actually possessed by the ancient demon Golden Horn King, which transforms him into the Golden Horn Penguin. Monkey Princess or Monkey Prince then exorcised the demon from him, again, just turning him into birds, never to be done again. His occupation is listed as criminal, fixer, stock trader. So he's a politician. Come on, we get it.
It's true. At one time, he was mayor. Actually, I think more than one time. And in one storyline, Oswald was the mayoral candidate for Dr. Thomas Wayne. It became clear in the early stages, though, that Dr. Wayne wanted to actually change Gotham for the better, which was just not okay.
How could you do that?
So it became clear. Oh, I just said that. So Oswald was not willing to let that go. Because also Wayne was going to disgrace the Cobblepot legacy, and he had to protect that as well. He had to protect his family's honor. So when the Waynes went to the Monarch Theater on that fateful night, Oswald paid a corrupt cop named Jacob Weaver to cut the power to the cinema as he was planning to kidnap the Waynes. But in a stroke of good luck for him, Joe Cool killed him instead. Was
it good luck for Oswald? Because the man broke his nose 37 times. And has tortured him
when you have a nose
since.
like that, maybe it was like, you got to get my deviated septum fixed.
Man.
Yeah, he had $10.8 million, 37 broken noses, and the guy never thought to get a nose job.
Not to
I
mention,
guess by that he had embraced his hideousness and turned his downside into a power.
Yeah.
Poor
well,
guy.
Since Oswald himself was never in the best of shape, he relies on his trusty or maybe not so trusty henchmen and all the fun toys that they have to do the heavy lifting. He's not very helpless on his own because he has some abilities, all right, such as animal training. As a kid, he trained his pet birds to be able to attack on command. That actually is a very good ability. He's very smart in business management. He went to Boston College to get his business. Not really. He didn't go to Boston College, but he did get his business degree. He has a keen business sense. He even kept his casino business legit so he could launder money from his illegal business. And then he has some basic hand-to-hand combat.
It's always good to have basic
is.
hand-to-hand combat.
Doesn't work to help his nose, but
No. Apparently, he needs to do more blocking. He's got some great leadership skills as well. He's been known to lead some big bads in Gotham and, of course, his henchmen. He's also really good at interrogating, intimidation. He's bilingual. Actually, he's multilingual, so he speaks multiple
He can talk to birds. He's very well versed in bird law.
In bird law?
Yeah, it's always
What
sunny.
do you say if you talk bird? Are you speaking ornithology? Ornithologist-ish? Okay.
You're asking me? I don't know.
Go talk to the birds. That's just for the birds. Tactical analysis. Oswald never forgets an injustice done to him. He may not exact his revenge in the same moment or even the same year, but at some point in some place, somewhere, somehow, he will have his vengeance. I feel like he's stealing lines from somebody else. His tactical skill ensures the stability and prosperity of his empire, his crime empire, which has always remained as the most powerful crime empire in Gotham. And he has claimed victory in gang wars. I suppose you could also add to his list of skills, patience. He's also got a lot of fun gadgets. He has a genius level intellect, lots of guns, including his umbrella gun, and he's really good at some swordsmanship, including his umbrella
sweet
sword.
Skills with the bow staff.
And now I'm going to take it to you, Matt.
Yes, before I dive into some of the Batman film, I want to go ahead and shout out Tom King and Rafael de la Torre, because since 2023, they've actually been doing a Penguin solo run for Dawn of DC, which is very, very much talked about. Now, basically, revenge is for the birds. After retiring to Metropolis following his death, Oswald Cobblepot finds himself forced back into the unpredictable and violent Gotham City. Now, as a pawn of the United States intelligence community, Gotham's criminal element has been evolving since he was last in the city, with his bastard twin children ruling the Iceberg Lounge. And what of the man he framed for his death? Batman? Is the Penguin walking into a death sentence? Now, like I said, Tom King, who is very much playing and has played in the Batman world before, and then Rafael de la Torre, who has actually inked and drawn Daredevil. This is one of DC's hot sellers right now. It's a very big talked about. They just did issue 12, I believe, just came out, which the reviews on nerdinitiative.com. That's one of the definitely got to read that. And then there's some other comic books. So obviously Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, He Who Laughs Last, which is a 2008 issue from Jason Aaron and Jason Pearson. It was part of the Joker's Asylum series, which is a bunch of one shots essentially focusing on Batman villains, each told from the perspective of the clown Prince of Crime himself. It doesn't have the time to dig as deep into Oswald's psyche as Pain and Prejudice does, but what it does, it builds his character and shows that Oswald can kind of actually have a heart. And it also illustrates just how quickly a kind gesture can turn into something completely ugly. And then we have The Penguin Triumphant from 1992, done by John Ostrander, Joe Staton, and Bob Smith. We've got Cracks, which is a story in Showcase 94, in the year of 94, issue 7. The Killing Peck is a story from the Secret Origin special that came out in 1989. It's from Alan Grant. The art alone is one of those things you got to read or see it for. Earth One, which is basically like an Elseworld story of Batman. And then there's a lot of others, but those are some of the more notable Penguin ones out there aside from the film. And speaking of the film, we're going to go into a quick little Penguin recap from the Batman film. I love the movie. Lauren thought it was slow and it wasn't good enough for her. Wishy-washy.
The best parts were the ones that Penguin was in.
Yes. Now, Penguin isn't the crime boss that we all think of. Yes, he owns his Iceberg Lounge, which some of the best moments are actually in this movie, again, because Batman shows up, knocks on the door, he breaks his way through, you see him fighting, and he makes his way up to, that's where he meets Zoe Kravitz's character, Selena, for the first time. It's kind of like a grungy thing. It's very, all the best moments are kind of done there. Colin Farrell played Penguin, of course. It's essentially one of the things that took 4 hours initially for the makeup to get done. And when Colin Farrell got into the makeup and everything, the costume weighed 10 pounds. And apparently as soon as he got into the makeup, he was like, oh yeah, I know exactly who this character is. And he created this whole backstory. He was
it doesn't
injured.
Look anything like him. It's crazy.
Oh my God. That I still remember that first, when they showed us Colin, I was like, that's not Colin. They were Oscar nominated for that. I can't remember if they won. I think they did. They had to have, because the makeup was insane. And then eventually they got so good at it that they went from 2 hours of makeup down to an hour and a half. And Mike Marino, who was on set that day, nobody would actually look at him. They all thought, who is this scary guy on set? He laughed triumphantly. All the actors, including Jeffrey Wright, Zoe Kravitz, everybody was like, why is this guy saying hello to me? This guy is crazy weird. Nobody actually knew it was Colin Farrell. They just thought it was some weirdo on set. And lo and behold, it was Penguin, Colin Farrell, which is really, that just tells you how much he disappears into the character.
So it sounds like he lost to Brendan Fraser in The Whale.
Yeah, well, that's right. I remember Brendan Fraser winning the Oscar for that one. You're right. Which I'm not going to get into that. I have thoughts.
Well, that was for best makeup and stuff. So it's like, is that really on them? I mean, they got to sit there and deal with it.
Right. It doesn't come down like best actor or anything, but dude, Penguins was better than anything I had seen in years out of a movie. Me too.
This never happens.
The beer is gone, but
this is their second take. Well, this is our first take.
This is a lot of really good stuff. So like, there's really good scenes with Jeffrey Wright after they, kidnap Penguin, and he's calling him stupid before like breaking the code. He's like, "What are you guys serious? You're stupid." And he's like, come on. What are you showing? Why are you showing me that? Come on. That whole sequence. That's after the fact that we get one of the coolest car chase sequences with this bad boy. I love the style of the Batmobile in this movie. They like hooked cameras up to the car and everything. They were wheeling and dealing. He's in like some sports car. Obviously, Batman's in this nice ass car. They're ripping through Gotham. Such a stellar scene. That the Batmobile, dude, like that. It starts off with it's raining. They're sitting there. The Batmobile turns on and he starts taking off after Penguin's met. Oh God damn it! It is so good. How
I
anybody
need to
could
give
watch
you a
that.
moment. You want me to
You do,
sleep
because
for a
this
second?
I legitimately will watch that movie just to rewatch that scene so many
I wish we
times.
could
I
get like
do.
the opposite of a Zack Snyder cut where they could just like condense some of it down.
Oh my god, but that's like
I mean, if I can stream it now, I guess I can
the
fast
movie's so
forward stuff.
good.
But
Yeah, it's
there
on
are
Max.
parts that I really liked, but then there were parts
I
where I
like that
literally
it's
checked my
slower.
phone. Like I felt like it was slow.
But that's the
And I'm
point.
not the only one
Batman's a
that says that. I heard
detective.
other people.
People,
You know
social
who else
media
are
has ruined you
detectives?
kids.
Oliver, Mabel, Charles, they're detectives too, but I
They
enjoy
have a
watching them
podcast.
do their detective
Subscribe
work.
to their podcast. They have a movie coming out too, actually. But
Yeah, look at that.
yeah, no,
If
it's
you haven't been watching Only Murders, we were referring to that. Here's your Tim Stanley cameo real quick. He did respond to us and was like, I have been trying to make you watch Community for 15 years. Please do not take 15 years to finish Only Murders. I am up to date.
no, we've been
Because I kept saying I hadn't watched season 3 yet, and I just watched all of season 3 last week. Okay,
you did,
back to the
yeah.
Batman.
Okay, yeah. So basically, at the end of the Batman, Falcone, he's dead. And this is kind of where the show is going to pick up. We see a new dawn of Gotham City, if you will, after the Riddler's whole thing. Penguin is the rising crime boss. Somebody's got to fill that void, and that's going to be Colin Farrell. Yes, it is going to air on HBO Max September 19th. It will star Colin Farrell once again. It's going to be 8 episodes. It's a limited series from DC. It's in the Matt Reeves universe. Batman will not be showing up. They've made that abundantly clear. I'm okay with that, as impatient as I am for more Batman, which won't start filming until next year, which means I won't get it in 2026. It was supposed to have come out this year, but the writer's strike.
Listen to Nirvana on repeat.
But it's so okay. It's basically going to bridge the film, The Batman, and the upcoming 2026 sequel. It exists in its own universe. This is known as the Batman Epic Crime Saga, which I honestly am also really cool with, because I would love to get more in depth with some of Batman's characters. You can build the world without having Batman. You can build up these, because then by the time you see them again in the Batman film, they're pretty much built up and you know what's going on in Gotham. And to me, if it's done right, which I'm pretty sure this is going to be done right, I'm sold. So far in.
Clancy Brown, which he seems to be showing up all over the place.
He's always been such a hustler, man. He's been in a sense that he's really, really good.
Because we've had him in Gen V, we've had him in Dexter New Blood,
Flash,
we've had him in Ahsoka. Yeah, but it's like these shows the last few years, keeps showing up, and so
he is. And it's also going to star Kristen Milotti, Renzi Feliz, Michael Kelly, Shohreh, Deirdre O'Connell, Clancy Brown, James Medeo, Scott Cohen, Michael Zegan, Carmen Ejago, and Theo Rossi. Like we said, it comes out on the 19th. They're going to have a couple episode premiere, and then weekly after that.
Was it originally supposed to come out earlier? Like a week earlier?
I thought initially it was August, maybe. I don't.
Okay,
don't
because
know.
Funny enough, next week we will be talking Agatha. We're going to go recap WandaVision, and we're going to go into Agatha's comic origin. However, Agatha actually comes out one day before Penguin. So when I sat down today to prep this episode and do my research, I was like, wait a minute, this comes out a day later and we're recording a week earlier, but that's just what I had on the calendar. I don't know what happened. I booked this calendar months ago. I did this before Europe.
True. It's
I blame Max.
That's right. Damn it. I'm really excited for the show. Can't wait to watch it. Agatha is also coming out September 18th. We're stacked. We will be talking about Agatha next week, so stay tuned. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you have any Penguin stories that you want to share that we want to talk, shout us out. DM us, email us, whatever it may be. You know how to support the show. Come find us on social media, and we will see you guys next. Cheers.